Moral teachings of God and his church do not change. If you're waiting for them to change, you're going to be waiting around a long time. There are disciplines of the church that can change. And I'll give you examples of what those look like, much like the old ceremonial Jewish and liturgical laws. I look out and I see 3 women in our church right in front of me that are keeping the beautiful custom that I love of veiling, of having your heads covered in church. How many of you grew up where you had to do that? I mean, you had to. If not, I was told, I wasn't around then, I was told that if you were in a pinch, you would even put a Kleenex on top of your head, right? Because you had to keep your head covered in church. Young people are looking at me like I'm crazy, but it's the truth. That was a cultural norm that we actually read about in the Bible, but it was a cultural norm that the church dictated for hundreds of years. But it really, when you look at the context of St. Paul's teaching, you see that this was a cultural norm, not a moral law. Another one is eating meat on Fridays. A lot of you grew up at a time where you were told every Friday of the year, under pain of mortal sin, you don't eat meat. Now, by the way, the church still asks us to abstain from meat on Fridays, every Friday, not just the Fridays of Lent. But what the church has done is she allows us to make another penance, to do something else in place of not eating meat, if we so choose. Why? To get at the heart of the law, which is to fast, to meditate on the teachings of Jesus, to meditate on his passion that he suffered for us. And that changed, and that can change. Disciplines change, but things like the church's teaching on marriage, brothers and sisters, that's not going to change. Nothing about the church's teaching on marriage is ever going to change because that comes from the moral law given to us by God. It's a matter that Jesus himself discusses. And so what the real challenge for Christians is that the gospel of Jesus should transform every area of our lives. It should inform our entire worldview, our entire social perspective needs to be informed by the gospel.